Hello, today I want to talk about how to keep your head down when everything around you is falling apart.
Just keep your head down and do your work.
About 3 years ago, I got caught cheating on my taxes. Yes, it was a transaction that I was doing when I was doing Airbnb about 8 years ago. I didn't declare all my revenues. So somehow the government found out of all this revenue that I was having and that I was not declaring it. So they asked me for some explanation, and after a few letters here back and forth, well, it was obvious that I didn't have an explanation. So we tried to negotiate an agreement, and they determined that I owed them a significant amount of money. It was a lot more than I could have ever imagined. And they gave me 12 months to pay it all back. The first emotion that I felt was overwhelming anxiety. I was constantly worried, thinking, oh my God, how am I going to be able to pay this debt? When I went to bed, my mind would start racing with ideas, trying to find a solution. And the more that I tried to force myself into sleep, the more elusive sleeping became. My bed, it was a resting place, a place where I knew that I could just fall down and fall asleep. But no, instead of a resting place, it became a battleground for ideas trying to find a solution. I felt helpless, alone, in the dark, knowing that the next day, when I would wake up, the debt would still be there. The next emotion that I felt was shame and guilt. I felt so embarrassed. The first thing that I did was to call my friends and family. I called my mother in Colombia and I told her about my dilemma. And then I went to visit my friend Cheryl and I cried on her shoulder. I was just so full of shame. Why was always looking to cut corners? I mean, the government of Canada, to be honest, has been very generous with me. And I was trying to cheat the government out of a few dollars. I could certainly afford to pay my full taxes. I was so ashamed that I just decided to get away with it, and I didn't. This was more than a money problem. The emotional toll was also affecting my mental health and my physical health. I was just getting sick of it. Since I didn't come up with any solutions on my sleepless night, the default was to endure my anxiety and my shame one day at a time. I guess I had the knowledge that other people have gone through similar circumstances, and at the end of the day, they had survived. One day, I was watching the movie The Titanic, and I was struck by a scene where the musicians were playing calming music with their violins while the ship was sinking. And this scene made me realize that when life presents us with challenges, circumstances, with things that are way beyond our control, the best thing that we can do is actually to put our head down and continue performing our daily routines. Routines and rituals, they help us make sense of the world. Routines such as waking up every day at the same time, or rituals like having a cup of coffee or tea every morning to transition from the sleeping state to a state of consciousness. These routines and rituals, they help us navigate through an unpredictable life by giving us something familiar to hold on to. In life, there are moments when forces beyond our control can sink our ship. The economy may crash. Our partner may break up with us. we may lose our job, or we may lose the apartment or house where we have been living half of our life. In this moment, we have two choices. Number one, we can just give in into the despair, or number two, we can continue playing the violin. We can continue doing the things that give us meaning, the purpose. We can continue, in my case, teaching the dance class or doing the photography work. In the case of a person who is unemployed, continue submitting CVs. We just have to put our head down and continue doing the work. There are many situations in life where no amount of effort, planning, or preparation can change the outcomes. These are moments when maybe we reflect and think that control, it could be an illusion. For example, economic downturns or national disasters, for example, an earthquake or fires in northern Canada or California, where those fires have destroyed people's house or livelihood. And maybe health crises like COVID that devastated whole thousands and thousands of lives. All these are forces that at a given moment, they can make us feel helpless. But while we may not be able to control the external circumstances of our life, we can always control how we respond. And this is where our true power of human beings comes alive. It is easy to feel defeated by all the things that are happening to you. But our strength of character comes alive not by the things that are happening to us, but how we respond. There is a quote by Epictetus that goes like this: "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." When the world around us feels like it's crashing down, it is our choice, our commitment to continue going despite the circumstances. It's about putting our head down and continue to do the work that matters to us, the work that defines us. For example, continue doing dance classes, continue doing photography work. If you are a barista, continue serving coffee to people with a smile. In the movie, continue to play the violin wasn't about denying the reality of the circumstances. It wasn't about being oblivious that the ship was sinking. It was about acknowledging the circumstances around them, but choosing to focus on the one thing that they could control. They could control the music that they were playing. They could control the emotions that they were producing when they were playing that music. They were doing a heroic act by calming the people down, the people who were panicking. And in our life, it's about understanding that even facing failure or loss, our efforts are not in vain. Our efforts shows our commitment to the things that we believe in. In time of crisis, it's natural to question the value of our efforts. Why do I continue to save money when I'm always in debt? Why do I continue going to events trying to make new friends when I'm always lonely? Why do I continue making YouTube videos when I have so little subscribers? The answer is that because our struggle is often our rewards. The obstacle is the way. When we strive towards something, that gives meaning to our life. Well, let me finish the story by letting you know what happened with my taxes. Well, I got over my anxiety, I got over my shame, I got over my guilt, and I continue living my life one day at a time, following my regular routines. These regular routines help me get over all these barriers that I was facing. And I was able to negotiate with the tax authority, and it's been 3 years and I'm still making monthly payments on my debt. End of the story. Thank you so much for listening and see you later. Peace.